Radford Dale Chardonnay 2019. Remember the founding father. Yes, we can say founding father with Alex Dale. He's a half Burgundian man. So for him, there was no way that he could do without any Chardonnay, trying to be inspired by the best Puligny, Chassagne, or whatever, or even Puy Frisé or Macon. Stellenbosch terroir, Radford Dale. What's inspiring you in that glass, Cathy?
Firstly, the colour is absolutely glorious. It's a light straw hue, but it's got a brilliant luminosity to it, and just that subtle lemon touch to it that makes me always think of Chardonnay, immediately think of Chardonnay.
I find a touch of green still.
Yes,
A bit of limey on the color.
Absolutely, it's quite youthful, very youthful colour. And then on the nose, it's a banker for Chard, I think. There's immediate lemon and lime notes, some white flowers, and a little bit of cream. And then the oak is only evident as a subtle spicing, for me anyway. And then the palate follows the nose quite beautifully to repeat those lemon and lime characters. I think in terms of a Stellenbosch Chardonnay, it's got that lighter styling. It's not as rightfully fruited as a lot of the Stellenbosch Chardonnays are. There's quite a delicacy and almost a leanness to the wine. It's a very vibrant acidity as well. And I've come to expect in Stellenbosch slightly more give in terms of acidity. But this Radford Dale is actually not pulling any punches in the acidity front either.
I think we've been used for too long in overweighted Chardonnays, and like we made me smile when you said that's a Chardonnay that smells and tastes like Chardonnay, which is the point here. It's lemony, limey, but let me play the devil's advocate with you, Cathy. On the nose, what made you think more Chardonnay than a Riesling, a ripe Riesling on that? Because it's, we need to give some indication on what the wine might be confused with. I mean, they're both noble grapes, undoubtedly, but I think this lime is fairly sometimes unusual on Chardonnay. It's more the lemon which I'm expected on that.
Yes, we normally associate lemon with Chardonnay and then lime with Riesling, but somehow, am I allowed to mention brand names? Because somehow the German lime reminds me of Rose's lime cordial. When you just open a lime cordial,
yes,
and you just nose it, it's a much more intense lime for me on a Riesling wine. And then of course there's also in combination on a Riesling, some people call it flea powder, but it's that subtle Fernet character, as the Germans refer to it, that slightly chemical essence on Riesling, which you don't get on a Chardonnay. So for me this is quintessential Chard. And of course there's that subtle spicing. Riesling is seldom made so that the oak adds an element of on the nose and on the palate. Yes, plenty of Riesling is made in oak, but it's usually large inert oak, and therefore it's only used to give weight or allow the integration of the components. Whereas in Chardonnay, it's one of the few white grape varieties that really comes to the fore when the winemaker uses oak very judiciously, and I think that's been done in this one. I suspect
the oak is extremely integrated.
The oak is beautiful, and I know that they use small barrels, but I also know that they do have a portion that is aged in the large foudre as well.
Oh, okay, that would explain, because when we've been using modern Chardonnays can be overwhelming, not only in terms of power and weight. I mean, the alcohol is very restrained, the acidity is sharp as well. Even for Stellenbosch, it's a very fresh wine. I would put that sometime I would consider even a cooler terroir than some of the cooler stuff Stellenbosch, because it's the lemony flavor combined with the acidity gives an extreme sensation of freshness. And yes, the wine should not be served too cold. That's a wine that will open in the glass when you analyze it and taste it. But and the way it's long on the palate without being, having a big bump in the middle palate, You got some creaminess, like you said.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's seamless, actually.
Yes,
when you say
seamless.
there's no bump in the road, it actually just persists and floats over your palate, and then just
top of the range
fades
Chardonnay.
away. Very nice Chardonnay.
Long,
Very nice Chardonnay.
lingering, almost Burgundian in its style, definitely. Now we understand where the founding father is coming from. Well done.
Cheers, Alex.